everyone. God, for me personally, it feels like it's been forever, although I know I missed the Wednesday, and I know I looked at Facebook, I'm like, how long ago was it that I've done a live? And it was only 6 days ago, but it feels like it's been forever because for the past 2 weeks, my life just, or my internal world was like, I was losing time. I was going through so much shifts and changes and internal wounds that were showing up. And at the same time, I also am working on this amazing 3-month program that we can go deeper in instead of these lives that are, not so interactive and it's deeper help, going deeply in, really trying to give support to everyone that is feeling depleted, is being overtaken by thoughts and the ego, is losing an identity and is scared to lose that identity, is losing people and is scared to lose these people, are losing their passions and don't know who they are. They're like this awakening stage, the awakening period that just feels like it's constantly in movement. There are days you feel up, there are hours you feel down, back and forth. But one thing that I really want to support people in doing this workshop, this online course mainly, is to have a community, to feel we've got each other's back, to feel that there is love outside of the denser energetic people. So I know the title that I wrote is how exhausting it is to be around very dense people entangled in their ego all the time, right? And I've had that experience, and it's been a while since I was in the throes of that kind of dynamics, because that's not the world I live in anymore. But I was thrown into that dynamics. And because I'm a highly sensitive person, I can truly, truly, truly feel what everyone feels. And I can also hear what their truth is, even if they're pretending something. So if they're really dense and they're not inquiring about themselves, not wondering how to feel better, not going into this self-exploration and figuring themselves out, what happens when I'm around that energy for a little bit, I start to absorb it in, and it goes inside of me, basically. And I start to amplify that emotion. So if the person in front of me is filled with anger, or there's so much anger happening in front of me, or so much disrespect and humiliation, I can feel the pain of the person being humiliated. I can also hear that they're about to shift and start humiliating others. I can hear the wound of this, and it's just a lot. But what happens is, because I grew up in that kind of environment, in a sense, I had learned how to disassociate from myself. I had learned to put on a smile and try to uplift the environment, because feeling all this pain around me all the time would hurt me. So it was like this disassociated state, but it happens so slowly and gently, where one becomes very robotic in a sense, but it's all for one's defense. You want to defend yourself from being hurt. You want to defend yourself from the criticism, the put downs, the looks, the anger, the abuse from coming your way. You're just doing everything. And what you learned as a child is the only way to do that is to completely forget about how you're feeling in the process. And you have to be super hyper active, super hyper attentive to how everyone else around you is feeling, so that you can dodge the ball as soon as possible. Know when to not say anything, know when to pretend to smile, know when everything, just because you don't want it to hurt as much, right? So you become disassociated with yourself. And I can speak strongly about this because it's what happened to me with all the work I've done, everything. Being in that place, which was beautiful that it happened, because it allowed me to see even deeper in myself, right? It allowed me to get to know me even more in a depth. But by doing that, by understanding that, it's become even more important for us all to really hone into the energetics that we're around. We need to identify, how long can I be around this kind of energy, these kinds of entities, these kinds of beings? How long can I, right? Before I am sucked in and I go into my child protective mode, right? And disassociate, right? And lose myself. You lose yourself in those dynamics. Not because you are not courageous enough, just because there are beliefs in there that needed to arise so that they can be seen and they can be let go of, so that it doesn't happen again. Let me just say, it could happen again, but the intensity is going to be a lot less. Like last time when it happened, the intensity was a lot less than the time before and the time before. So it gets less, but what happens is you get to discover something new that's in the body, right? Fear-based, that's trapped inside. So how I want to help you is to identify and to know that there are dark beings out there, right? And they could be the closest people to you or the randoms. But usually it's the closest people that hurt the most, right? That you absorb the most, because it's out of how we empaths have learned how to make sure to observe the parents, the people, right? To make sure to avoid all ways of having pain, because the pain was so intense. Whatever we suffered through was very intense. Plus, there's a whole bunch of DNA that's in here that is from the ancestors, the lineage, that is also being vibrationally awakened and opened up for us to work through and to release and to let it go. Now, in saying all this, you can give yourself permission to be okay by identifying and saying, not that you're judging the person, it's a different way of saying something, just so the guilt doesn't come in, or the self-judgment, like I'm such a bad person. You can simply just say, for who I am today, that energy, those energies, this environment, this outing, this space, these people, make me feel this way. Is this the way I would like to feel? Do I want to disassociate with myself? Right? Do I matter? Does my life matter? What? And then you ask yourself, like, what allows me to do that? What am I afraid of? What don't I want to lose? What will happen to me if I stand in my truth within me and start to notice that I'm starting to lose parts of me? I'm starting to do the pretend thing, right? I'm not feeling my feelings. I'm too scared to feel my feelings. I would rather feel other people's feelings so that I can figure out how to protect myself. You're going to notice it. It's going to happen, right? It's very subtle, but you're going to notice it. The more you pay attention, the more you are aware of, I need to be more aware of how I'm feeling, more than how others are feeling. This is how we become a more empowered empath instead of disempowered empath. What is happening in my scenario? How am I feeling right now? Immediately, it's not easy, but it's if there's an awareness there that at some point during the day or the next days or whatever, that you can just look inside and say, how am I feeling right now? What is going on with me? Am I still me? Am I still as authentic as I can be? No, because I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe to say my truth. I don't feel safe to be around this environment. Then what can I do? What are the best options that I have? Right? So now you're caring more about you, because others in your life who love you, who care for you, who enjoy your company, who respect you, who treat you with kindness and value, need you, right? Need the true you with them. So in conscious awareness, you're basically retraining yourself from the old beliefs that everyone else matters but you, that you are everybody's item, tool. You're everybody else's but yourself. And we are reprogramming ourselves that we are equal to everyone else. And we also have the right we also have the right to choose to distance ourselves, right, and know ourselves a little bit more. So all the pain that you're suffering through, all the confusion, is always a gift. As horrible as it is, it's a gift to get to know you better so you can have more clarity about you. Who did I become in this person's presence? What thoughts were I going through? What was I become? What is going on with me here that I need to sit with? There's a very scared version of me inside. There's a scared version of me inside to scare my dad, or to upset him, or to upset the mom, or to be judged, to be punished, to be looked at, to be reprimanded, to be something. Something is happening. That's the version of you to sit with. There are steps to it. I'm trying to get you there as easily as possible, instead of staying like for months in victim mode and figuring out, why can't this person love me? Why can't they just accept me for who I am? Why can't I be loved this way? Why can't they just see straight? Why can't they get it? All that is a waste of life, energy, time, and it like takes away your minutes, days, and hours, because you're locked in the thought and the desire to get someone to see you, to love you, to respect you. But what happens is, the reason you're locked into that, instead of wasting so much time, recognize that there is something you're afraid of losing. You're afraid of pain. You're afraid of suffering. There is something inside that needs to be revealed to you. The great revelation of all this awakening is you getting revealed to you. That is it. And then you giving yourself, saying, oh, I'm so scared to be alone and unlovable and being judged. And that's just a younger version of you. That's an energetic thing, like an energy bubble that's trapped in you that hasn't been seen, right? And you sit with that and you just say, oh my God, the reason I'm doing all this and disassociating and hurting myself is because I love this person so much and I have so many expectations of them. But if I can't see me, how can I ever expect somebody else to see me? And it's no more expecting anyone to see you or to love you or to give you that, which they can definitely not offer. Dark, dense, energetic beings, which some people call narcissists, some people call trapped in the egos, whatever it is, toxicity, dark energy beings will not and cannot offer you that which you seek. Because if they could, they wouldn't be dark energy beings. They would be more of the light. They would have more empathy, more compassion, more love. Doesn't mean that they're constantly that way, or then you wouldn't stick around. You know, you just leave. It'd be like a complete psycho. There are nice times, and it's what we collect and gather to give excuses for really, really bad behavior. But remember, like I always say, if your tolerance level to crap, to disrespect, to whatever environment you're in, the higher that tolerance level is, the lower your self-worth is. Your self-value, your self-respect, your boundaries, who you are, how you see yourself. The higher your tolerance means that you can take so much, and your tolerance says, if they hit me or if they swear at me, but they can be doing everything else, but you're cool with it. Just because it's a disassociated state. So even if it hurts you emotionally when it's happening, because you've disassociated, you can't tap into that. It has to be higher than what you can tolerate as disrespect, because you've disassociated from self. So now the pain isn't there unless it reaches a certain peak where you're like, oh, this feels uncomfortable. But that's after a while. So the more you become more aware of yourself, the less disassociated you will become. The easier you will become with yourself, the less judgmental and the kinder with yourself you will become. So I'm helping you through this because it was helping me that I came to that awareness. I had to sit with myself. Something else I want to share, if you're interested in human design, which I discovered around a year and a bit ago, that I'm a reflector. So I'll leave you the link of human design. You can go figure out who you are. But I'm a reflector. So a reflector, which made the whole, when you want to self-discover, when you're ready to figure out who you are, Source and God start giving you tools and ways to figure that out. So I went through many modules of many different things. I don't trust the whole thing. I take bits and pieces, right? Because not everyone has all the answers. I take what I like and what feels true for me, like, oh, it finally makes sense. So as a reflector in human design, at first I was so excited. I'm like, it's 1% of the population are reflectors, meaning we feel so deeply and we amplify the environment around us. So if we're around happy people, we amplify that. We become the amplifier of it. Therefore, this made all the sense in the world, why I was doing what I do most of my life, how I feel so intensely, and how I take on other people, and I can dive deep and read them and become them in their environment. So being around toxic people, intense, angry people, doesn't serve me in any form. So as you self-discover, which is an amazing journey, because it's like you've spent your whole life trying to figure out who everyone else is to protect yourself, right? And for the first time in the awakening stage, is trying to discover who the hell you are, right? I was discovering who's he, who's she, are they safe, are they not safe, how do I talk here, how do they like me to speak, how do they like me to look, how do they like me to act, oh, I should act this way, and so much self-judgment. But how often have you spent time getting to know you in a very different way, getting to know you, to please you, to figure you out, right? So this is what the Awakening Journey is about. And my course is called Awaken to Your True Self, the online course, which I'll be inviting you to and speaking more about. I'm just working through all the logistics and stuff, but it's going to be amazing. I've done many other workshops before, and what's wonderful and what saddens me is when they come to an end, because even the people in those online courses, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever, they want to continue. But by then I don't have anything planned. So this way I'm going to do it differently somehow. I'm going to figure out a way, because I get all excited and we all bond, and then people come in and things are shifting, and there's like this comfort, there's this ease and techniques and tools, and but I can't do a lot of what I actually offer online live. It's cozier and better and more profound when we are actually in a workshop setting, in a course setting, in a teaching setting where everyone shares on the chat, and we dive into those and we do things, energetic things to release and to grow from and to answer questions. It's just, I love it and enjoy it as I evolve and everyone else evolves through it. And you got to read the testimonials. There are lots of people's lives who've completely changed, to the better, of course. So I'll be speaking more about that, and I'll be sharing the link to that and the dates when I'll start. And it's really inexpensive for what it's going to be offering you. I love you all so dearly. I will be back on Wednesday. We'll see. I'm feeling more of myself. If you watch the video I did 6 days ago, you will notice a slight difference in who I was, because that was when I was in the muck of things. So there was a lot less me available and more of a different me. You'll be able to tell, I think, right? Anyway, I love you all deeply. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to leave me your thumbs up, your hearts, your comments. And let me know if it does interest you to have private group sessions with me to work in a collective, beautiful community together. Take care of yourselves. Love you all.